Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Paul. We are so happy you're here for the Tabs3 virtual user group meeting for February of 2016. Could this be the February 2016 virtual user group meeting? Isn't it supposed to be March 1st? No, it's not. It's supposed to be February 29th, and I'm so excited about that I can't contain myself. Oh, I guess I didn't talk about what we're talking about today. We are talking about import bank transactions. Mary Jo's very excited to take that topic, aren't you, Mary Jo?
Oh, yes.
And I'm going to talk about Timekeeper Overhead, which is something that maybe you've noticed, very few of you have used. Maybe you've seen something about it and wondered what it is. We're going to explain that for you. So without further ado, here we go. There's that button, and there's this button, and that button, and God, too many buttons. And here we are. We are in General Ledger,
Okay.
ready for Mary Jo to talk about this exciting new version 18 feature. Mary Jo, go ahead.
Okay, so importing bank transactions has been long awaited. I mean, everybody wants to make this easy and just be able to hook in and bring in the file and just have it match up the transactions or have us manually match them, whatever it is, and just get our reconciliation done much quicker. And so version 18 has brought that in, and it is wonderful. So first off, your bank
from, Mary Jo?
Well, what?
What transactions are you talking about? What transactions are we importing?
Bank transactions. I said that. Be quiet. Be quiet in the peanut gallery. I've got this.
So you mean that thing that QuickBooks can do that everybody's always been asking about?
Oh boy. So now that I'm totally off track, I don't know what I'm talking about. All right, so bank transactions. So first off, you have to have a file that's compatible that can be brought in, and most banks will have that available for you, and I'll talk about what those formats are in a second. So you need to have the file from your bank. Now some banks, I think our bank is one, that you actually have to pay for that service. So if you want that and be able to download those transactions, you have to pay a certain fee per month. Other banks are really great, and they do allow that, and they'll just go ahead and you can just download it right from your bank account screen. So either way, it's an online banking thing. You're going to have to get in there and work that out with your banking institution. But once you do, then all you have to do is come into General Ledger, and everything that I'm showing you today is also available in Trust Accounting. So it's exactly the same procedure. You're going to go into the Bank Account Manager. So I'm going to go over here and go into that. So it's under our Chart of Accounts, Bank Account Manager. And in here, you would just choose the bank account that you want to import transactions for. Now, Bank Account Manager is really cool because you can import, you can confirm, and then you can also just go right straight to your reconciliation. So you can do all of the things that you need to do with your reconciliation right here on Bank Account Manager. Now, one thing I will note is if you are going to import bank transactions, you do have to have your bank account number listed in here. So I am not sure if this one has it because I'm not seeing my bank account number in here. So I'm going to go look at that, and hopefully this is going to work. So let me get out over here, because you do need to define that. So I am going to have to click on this first to get what bank account number it is, and then I will put it in. So this is sample data, so you got to bear with us here. So you're going to choose your account, and I'm going to import bank transactions. And when this comes up, I'm going to get out to our file here that has it. And I'm just going to grab that number. Hopefully it will tell me. But before I do, the three types of files that you can bring in are listed right here. It's an OFX file, it is a QBO file, or a QFX file. So it has to be in one of these formats. And I will tell you that the OFX is probably going to be the one that your banking institution will have. This QBO is a QuickBooks one, and I don't remember the QFX is, but those are different file formats. You'll probably have the OFX from your account. So I'm going to go ahead and open this, and it's probably going to tell me that I don't have it. So see this right here where it has the number, my bank account number? I also have to type in and put in my GLS account number, which I'm going to match it up. So now I've got my 1110.00, and that's my bank account information. So it is the 9. I'm going to just write this down just in case it's going to ask me later because I have not defined it. 352. Okay. So we'll say OK. And then see, it does not have it. So if you have not defined your bank account number, you're going to end up with this. It's going to say, well, you have not set that up, and it will ask if you want to go ahead and update it right then to match. So you can do it there or ahead of time in your setup, on your bank account setup. You have to, in your chart of accounts, map out what that number is. You have to put in your bank account number. So I'm just going to tell it to go ahead and update it.
You didn't have to put a bank account number in.
I didn't. No, I don't, because it does ask me along the way, but I wasn't sure if the sample data would do it, so I was kind of being hesitant. So it does.
Right. So but in version 17, you didn't have to have this defined.
No. In version 17, on your chart of accounts, you did not have to define your bank account number. It was optional. But if you are going to import bank transactions, over in your chart of accounts, when you set up an account as a bank account, you can go over to the account information and you can put in your bank account number. In trust, it's underneath where you set up your bank account. So you'd have bank account 1, 2, 3. There's now a space in there where you can put in the bank account number for that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and tell it to go ahead and update automatically for me and just say yes. And so now there's 23 bank transactions that were imported. So we're going to go ahead and say OK. And at that point, it says that it has import them. And then do I want to delete the import file? So you had to have downloaded that file somewhere and saved it either to your desktop or into the STI directory or wherever it is that you saved that file. And now it's asking you, since you've already imported it, would you like to delete that file and have it clean the next time you download? And since I'm in sample data, I'm going to say no, that I want to keep that file, but you would probably say yes and delete it out. So now that I've imported those transactions, I am on my operating account screen, and I see that I have 23 unconfirmed transactions. So once we import them, we also have to confirm those transactions and make sure those are exactly what we want to do. So I'm going to click on my confirm transactions down here at the bottom. This is going to open up all of the things that it could match. And see, they're all nice and green, which means go, wonderful, it works. And then if I had any, I'm sorry, these are the unmatched. These are the unmatched transactions. Darn it, I thought I had a good thing with the green and go, but no, it's not. These are the ones that are unmatched. So it wants us to confirm these and say, yes, match these up for us. And then if there were any that were matched, they would be over here. So what I'm going to do is go to my unmatched, and I'm going to go ahead and match these up. So if I were looking for this first one, it's a deposit of $14.51. So it wants me to go in and it wants me to find where is that deposit. Now, why is it unmatched? Sometimes it can find these transactions and they're exactly what it needs, and other times it can't. So we have to just kind of make sure that it's matching what we want. So when I open my match, and that's because we don't have anything in here. So sample data, I mean, you just got to love it. So it can't find this transaction. So I can add it right now with a journal entry, or I can, if there was something that I had maybe made a deposit slip and I had combined two different deposits together, I could match those up together and say, oh, it's these two things. Or I could go create that deposit slip and match them up. These are going to stay on this unmatched until I finish and confirm all of these. So you can exit out of this window and go create or match up whatever it is that you have to do and then come back in here as well. So I'm going to skip this one for just a second and just see if I can get one that I can match. Let me find a check. See, there's just nothing in here. So unfortunately, I don't have the transaction, so I'll create one. Let's go to our deposit. I'll match, and I'm going to add the transaction. So at this point, it's just going to give me a journal entry, and then I can say where this was from. So if this was from fee income or whatever it is. Now you probably are going to have these in. This is really a bad example. And we kind of got halfway there. Paul and I were laughing because our sample data was pretty messed up earlier, and we thought we were fixing it. But apparently we fixed one thing, but we didn't have the other thing. So I'm going to create it just so that I've got it. And so now I've just got one in here, and I'll just have that be here, and so now I've matched that. I've created the corresponding entry to match. Normally you would have, if it was on the unmatched list, there would be, if I clicked on match, all of those entries would be on here and I could match them up. 9 times out of 10 the entries are just going to come in as matched because you're going to have all those journal entries in there, and you might have just a few that either it's an automatic payment that you haven't entered yet, or it's a deposit slip that maybe you combine multiple things and it can't match up that deposit slip. But for the most part, these entries should just come in as matched. So I'm not going to do all of these, but you can add them if they're not there right on the fly, so you don't have to get out of this window. But in the end, you want to make sure everything is matched, and then you can go into your reconciliation. And what that does when these match, if they had come in as matched, it would automatically be checked off on your reconciliation. It would already know, oh, it's matched, I'm checking it off. So it saves you time in having to go in and go down your reconciliation and check everything off manually. It will just, any matched entries automatically check off as cleared. If it's something you have to, it's unmatched you do, once you've matched it, it's checked off as well. So I'm going to go ahead.
So theoretically, you should be able to, most of them should be matched.
Correct.
The 2 or 3 that are unmatched, you should be able to create entries for. And
correct.
So what you're telling me, I think, is that when we go into reconciliation, it should almost be done.
Yep, that is correct. So it's telling me that there's unconfirmed bank account transactions. You probably will not have that there. So I'm going to go ahead and say no and just take me into the reconciliation. But what I want to show you is that when I'm in here, see, there's just no data. I don't have any data in this.
That might be
That's why there's just nothing here. So there's in our sample data, if I had these entries, they would be checked off and it would be marked as clear. All of the ones that have been matched would be on this list and they would be cleared. So once you get done and everything is in here, it's really just going to be a matter of just clicking finalize and you're completed. So again, same thing in trust. I know this is really kind of a I don't know how great of a demo of actually seeing it, but the idea and the concepts are there, and it should be relatively simple to bring these in. So Paul, I'm going to turn it over to you, and I think you may have better luck with your sample data.
I wouldn't go so far. Leanne, I think, has a question.
Go ahead.
There is a question from Barbara. She would like to know when she can expect version 18 because 17 does not have a place for the account number.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, version
17.
18. This is a version 18 feature right here. And so we'll jump ahead to that real quick.
Here, I can show you real fast where it is. So actually, you do have it in version 17 to put the bank account number in. You do not have the import bank transactions. So if I go into my chart of accounts and just go to my operating account, I do have a number or a place right here under bank info, and that's where you can put in the account number. That is in 17. But
it just wasn't required.
Yeah, it wasn't required that you fill this out. So that's where you're going to go to put it in to import bank transactions in version 18, which is out, and we can help you get that, and we can help you install that. If you're interested in that, just let us know, and we can help you with that.
Yeah, we have version 18 out. If you are on maintenance and you're ready to go, and you're going to do it yourself, you can go to help and check for updates. And if you want to do the update yourself, you simply click on this. It verifies that you're on maintenance. It lets you download it and lets you install it. If you want us to help you do it, all you really have to do to get version 18 is call and set a time with Mary Jo to connect and do it for you. But it's there. It is now available to anybody that wants to get it now, simply by clicking on help and then check for updates. Any more questions, Leanne, before we move on?
Nope.
Okay. Mary Jo says, hopefully I'll have better luck. We were messing around trying to get the import to work, which we did get, and we didn't get to talk, Mary Jo and I talk about what I'm doing at all, so I better have better luck or I'm going to be in deep trouble. Now, what I'm talking about is Timekeeper Profitability, which is defined by something called Timekeeper Overhead. So perhaps you've come into reports before, and I want to say it's a management report. Do you see it, Mary Jo? There we go.
Yeah, it's right down here at the bottom, right there.
Perhaps you've seen this, and maybe you've even run it, and it's made no sense to you. And the reason it would make no sense to you is because Timekeeper Profitability uses some information that you put into the Timekeeper file as far as what each timekeeper's overhead is in order to determine, based on what they've billed, how profitable they are. And so the key to running the Timekeeper Profitability Report is not just to run it, but to have defined the timekeepers with their overhead. So we start here in the Timekeeper file, and we call up anybody, maybe not that guy.
You know, Paul, I'm wondering at this point if you just switch back to our regular NFR for this.
Let's do this.
I think because this one doesn't have all the data
We
that
not
we
have
need in
data
it.
at all?
No, it doesn't look
I
like
guess
it's just like it's
different.
brand new. Yeah.
Okay, let's get out of here. Let's go over
Can I
here.
put a question out back on the other
Sure.
topic while you're switching, Paul?
Yeah.
Okay. Victor wants to know when unmatched transactions come up and we select exclude, how do we include them again? Or, you know, if you want to not exclude them, unmatched transactions.
Well, you don't exclude unmatched transactions because then you wouldn't be able to reconcile. In other words, when you've imported these bank transactions, those represent the transactions the bank sees. So you can't really reconcile if you exclude an unmatched transaction. You need to either add it or match it. Correct, Mary Jo?
Yeah, I would say so. I don't know why you would exclude.
Because if you do, then you're not going to be able to reconcile, because if it's in the file that's coming in the
Well, if
bank.
he's excluding importing it, I mean, if he's already got a manual, I don't know. If he's already got something in there that he just wants to exclude importing it, but yet he's already got an entry in there that he can reconcile it from. Or if it's like on trust, that it's an in and out and you just don't want those in. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a situation you would want that, but maybe he can expand on that.
He's expanding here because the matching feature doesn't recognize older transactions. Things that have been reconciled previously are the biggest issue.
Well, if they've been reconciled previously, they shouldn't be coming in.
But if it's the first time that they're importing transactions, I think you just have to make sure that when you're importing those transactions that you set your date range on your download file so that it's only including current information. It should only be that current statement's worth of information when you're doing the download file from the bank. I don't know that I would go back and do everything, because that will do what you're saying.
When you pull the transactions in from the bank, you're saying, you know, I want to pull in the transactions from this statement. Just like you would get a statement in the mail, or you would go in and look at your reconciliation, look at your statement from the last time you reconciled. You're pulling in transactions that you haven't reconciled. So you shouldn't be excluding them, because if you're excluding them, then you can't reconcile them. Okay, I'm going to go back into Timekeeper.
All right. He just says they reconcile every day.
Right.
So just you would only be downloading your daily transactions that have not been reconciled yet. So you shouldn't be pulling in the day before.
Yeah, that's a matter of what you're pulling in from the bank. You shouldn't be pulling in anything. The bank should not let you pull in anything that is reconciled. So it's a matter of how your bank lets you.
Well, the bank wouldn't know whether he's reconciled it or not. But it should only show you the current day's transaction, so you should only be bringing that down, not, you know.
Right. What I'm saying is that they give you a mechanism, the bank gives you a mechanism to specify which transactions you want to import or export.
Yeah.
So if you're reconciled through yesterday, then you would only bring in transactions through today. So it's not really a matter of excluding them from the matching. It's a matter of excluding your bank from exporting those transactions. It's a matter of how you specify to the bank which transactions you want to export to be imported into General Ledger. Okay, I've pulled up Michael Larson, and I have profitability figures for the current year, overhead figures for the current year for this particular person. So what I'm defining here is that it costs us $12,500 in these months, everything except for July for some reason. It costs us $12,500 to have Michael Jensen work here. That's his contribution to overhead, rent, leases, the salaries of support staff, whatever it is that we have defined as his overhead figure. And so by defining these overhead figures, or the profitability amounts in the Timekeeper record, and I'm going to go ahead and show you a couple other people. Here's Paula Martin. Hers are exactly the same. Let's go a couple down and see if we can get somebody that's got anything different. So here's somebody that doesn't have to contribute that much to overhead, perhaps because she's a paralegal, perhaps she's a first-year associate, whatever the case may be. The firm has decided that she, in order to be profitable, needs to merely bring in $1,500 a month. Whereas, if we look back here at Paula Martin, she has much higher overhead amounts to make her profitable. So now let's go ahead and look at the profitability report.
Paul, before you get out of there, can I show them something? So on the profitability right here, you don't have to manually type in these. If you go to allocate, you can put in a monthly, a yearly, an amount, a specific amount, whatever it is that you want to do here to adjust it. So let's say next year it goes up $500 a month. You can say 500 or 12.5 and it will do it. But you can specify a monthly amount here of, let's say, 15,000 and say okay, and that's going to populate all of those months automatically for you. Or you can come into allocate and you can say, okay, I want to do it by a percentage, so I want to up that by 10% next year. And then that will go out and figure out what that is for you, so you don't have to manually type that in.
Exactly.
Or you can up it by 500 a month or whatever that is. Or you can put in a yearly amount and it will split it. So if I say she has to make 100,000 every year, it will go out and split that out monthly for me. The only thing it does not do is by hour. It's all amount, so just keep that in mind.
Right, because it's allocating on a monthly basis.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, you can't override these. I don't know why July, for instance, had a lower figure, but whatever the firm's logic is to doing that, you have complete control over this. Or, as Mary Jo says, you can use this allocate button to simply spread out a yearly amount. Mm-hmm. So let's go now and look at this profitability report. And I'm just going to run it straight line right now out of the box. And what you can see here is the month and how many billed fees they had, what their overhead was, what a percentage of overhead for the fees. So this guy was not profitable this month. He only pulled in 24% of his overhead. This month, Michael was profitable. He pulled in 139% and made $48.40. So we have the overhead figures coming through here, the actual billed fees coming through here. We have the actual percentages of that, and then whether or not they were positive or negative and what their overall total was. Now let's back out of here real quick. We do have the ability to simply do a certain person, obviously, 1 through 1, 2 through 2. We have the ability to define what months we're going to do the report for, so it could be for the whole year. And we also have the ability over here to create a graph based on net profit or billed fees or overhead or percentage of billed fees. Now, to me, the profitability report is really all about either net profit or percentage of billed fees. But if you wanted to see how their overhead compared to others or how their billed fees compared to others, even though you're not looking at profitability, that's fine. And then you can have the graph be either for individual timekeeper or for the grand totals. And let's go ahead and look at what that looks like. And so there we have a profitability report that shows the graphed figures. And each person is a different color, and each month is represented in a different section of the report. For some reason, people are extremely unprofitable in these times and extremely profitable in those times. Not quite sure why. And so that's it.
Sample data.
Because it's sample data. We're all having fun with sample data today. So that is the profitability report. A little easier to demonstrate than the with sample data, I should say. Next month, we are going to talk about automatic trust payments, another new feature in version 18. Mary Jo is going to take that topic, and I am going to talk about, can't read my writing, Mary Jo. Print.
Printing receipts.
Printing receipts, thank you. Yes, another new feature in version 18. In trust accounting and tabs, you can now take money in at the front counter, in the main reception area, and instead of writing out a handwritten receipt, or some firms do this, they go in, they actually enter the payment and then print a bill that shows the payment, which is, to me, not the best way to do it. There's a new feature that simply prints a receipt that says we received this much money from this person against this particular matter. So that's a new feature that we'll demonstrate. If you want to see any of our video content, including this particular virtual user group meeting that you're attending right now, you can do so by going to our website at attorneycomputersystems.com and clicking on video or hovering over video, where you will find that we have 3 virtual user group meetings: Tabs, Practice Master, and World Docs. We have our Coffee Pot webinars. That is another live event that I give each month. And then we have 2 recorded events as well. Your eBytes video series that Mary Jo does every month. She does one for Tabs each month, one for Practice Master each month, and one for World Docs each month. And then the longer format Paul and Mary Jo show, where Mary Jo or I will take a broader topic and spend 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes getting into the nuts and bolts of it. If you click on videos, you'll actually get a description of all these titles. And if you click on this one, for instance, the Tabs3 Virtual User Group Meeting, you will find information on how to register for the next event. Currently, that's showing the one we're watching right now. In a minute, that'll change. And as you scroll down, you'll find recorded versions of all the, in this instance, Tabs3 Virtual User Group Meetings that we've ever had before. So a lot of content out there, and a lot of browsing. If you'd like to go back and review a virtual user group meeting that you missed, or you're looking for a specific bit of functionality, you can also simply type here something to the effect of, oh, let's say email, learn how you can send Tabs and Practice Master reports to the right people without lifting a finger using email. I type email up here, and I get a list of all the items that match, and I can choose one right away off that list, or I can hit enter and get a list and choose it that way. So a lot of video content, some of it pre-recorded, some of it live like you're attending right now, and it's all out there. So everybody have a good rest of the month, what's left of it, and we will see you in March at the next Tabs3 Virtual User Group meeting. Thanks much. Bye-bye.